Good morning, everyone. Hey, you're listening to The Venus Vault on Radio Phoenix, and we're coming to you live this morning. It's a gorgeous fall morning in Phoenix, and you know, I'm really excited today because this is a special day. Not only do I have my wonderful co-host, Katie Sabagian, who is a spiritual psychologist and owner of Your Soul Symphony. You know, Katie's wonderful because she helps thousands of people worldwide, including myself, and I just feel very blessed to have her here with us. So thank you, Katie. It's so nice to see your pretty face in the morning on Sunday.
I love how you say including myself. It's so cute.
But it's because I can give it validity.
I know.
Validity. I don't know everything you do for everyone else, but honey, I know what you've done for me.
Aw,
and
I
is
appreciate
wonderful.
it. Thank you so much.
She's really, truly a blessing and really talented and gifted. And then we have my favorite funny man, I think, in the planet, actually, and he is Mike Kennedy. Right now, you know, he's a stand-up comedian, and he was a private investigator for many, many years. He gave up that career, and he's pursuing a dream, and that dream is paying off because you know what? Mike, I just want to give you some kudos.
It's free lunches from women. That's my dream.
Mike, well, first of all, you're getting cuter as you age, so it's like the perfect time to get up on that stage.
Thank you.
You look so cute. This morning he has a nice wrinkled, lovely gray shirt. You know, he's so cute he doesn't have to care.
I knew our guest was married, so I said, why bother showering? I'm going back to sleep. I've been up since, I was up till 5, so.
Now I do.
Honey, you don't have to reveal everything.
I do have to reveal
Keep a little mystery.
I want the listener to know why I sound so sexy this morning.
You're not going to get free
Are you sure it's not because Leslie's in the house?
I'm going to be
Are
a
you
sexy
sure?
fly on the wall this morning.
You are here with 4 beautiful women this morning.
know.
You must be totally overwhelmed.
Well, yeah.
You didn't even need coffee because the adrenaline of the beauty just completely encapsulated
I drank Gatorade this morning because I knew it was going to be a workout to work around 4 women. I'm ready to go.
You're making it really hard to get free lunches from women, honey.
Why?
Right.
I'm thinking about buying the Twitter.
No shower and Gatorade.
Buy me lunch. You guys are all committed. I know what's going on. I'm not trying to work the scene right now.
Okay, all right.
It's
Thank God. Hey, Mike, I did want to give you a shout out though this weekend. We had such a great weekend, Katie and I, right?
Oh, yes, we did.
You know, you post on your Facebook page your shows, and this one you had at Stand Up Live. Is that what Stand Up Live? It's the big place in downtown Phoenix. Yeah. And so we went, club. And Colin Jost, Colin Jost was the headliner.
Head writer for Saturday Night Live. 31 years old only, and the head writer of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he was amazing. So we get there, you know, we get there a few minutes beforehand, and there's like this long line all the way around the whole corner. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we're going, is this for the club? I thought it was something else. I'm like, oh my God, this is like a big deal.
At least a few hundred people.
But you know what was cool, Mike, is that we were on the VIP list. Yeah. So we just looked at everybody and we walked right on by. Yeah. We had we were fluffed up. We're like, that's right. We're walking right in. Sorry, guys. And then we sit in front. It was very nice. But the thing, Mike was the host, and that's difficult because he was coming on, you know, getting the crowd going, and we could hear people talking in the audience, you know. They were laughing their, you know, what's off with you. It was really great to see you in your element.
It's a tough spot because people are still settling in and getting their drink orders, and they don't expect the first person to really do anything, and you have to really kind of get their attention. It's
you did a great job, and it was a great night. I just want to say thank you for that.
Mike, you were actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, you were.
Well, there are only 3 of us, so.
Well, actually, you were my favorite.
She said you were her favorite.
You were my third favorite.
You had competition because the headliner was he was really cute, Mike. He was, and he was
he's a good-looking dude. Went to Harvard.
Was.
I mean, he literally, if there was the movie Twins.
Yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and then Danny DeVito. I'd be a 6'4" Danny DeVito.
Okay,
like his life. Have you ever seen that movie Twins?
Sure, I think everybody probably has.
And that's he and I. Of course, I'm 12 years older than him. But.
So, honey, who's the third person here?
Well, yeah. Okay, let's get rid of the thunderous Mike now. Move on to what this show is about today.
Thunderous.
So we're really, really fortunate because we have a special guest in. First of all, we're live today, which is really fun because it keeps us a little bit nervous because we can't make any mistakes
on our tiptoes.
So if we do, just forgive us a little bit. But we have Leslie Sprins in this morning, and first of all, she's absolutely a wonderful ray of sunshine. We want to thank her for coming in on this beautiful fall day. Mm-hmm. She's absolutely beautiful for my wonderful eyes to look at. Thank you for that, Leslie.
Ooh, thanks.
But Leslie is actually a relationship expert, and she's a vice president of True Match, which is the largest matchmaking firm in Arizona. And they have a special event going on next weekend. We wanted to bring her in and kind of talk a little bit about that event. But some of the things that they're going to be working on over the weekend is building skills to attract and maintain healthy relationships, how to attract the right mate, correct? And then a big question that a lot of women ask, Leslie, is what is it that men really want? You know, we think we know what they want. We're not men. You know, we can't get inside of their mind, but we can observe and we can ask questions. And you've had experience. You've dealt with a lot of different people. I'm sure you've held interviews. You've talked to men. So you're coming to us with a lot of insider viewpoints. And so we're really excited to hear what you have to say.
Yay, and I'm excited to be here with you guys today.
Oh.
What a great group of people.
It's really, it's kind of
men here
yeah, we were
too.
going to say women, right? And then, of course, we have our wonderful producer, Tashima Oates. She's always here. And, hey, Tashima, how are you doing? She's always keeping us in check because sometimes, everybody, you know, we want to get a little bit out of check.
That's right.
She's like, check.
It's not fun.
You guys have a question to pose to start our morning off, and then I'm going to share a story because you know my segment has a story in it.
That's
okay?
right.
So I'm going to prepare you, Leslie.
All right, I'm excited.
You ready?
to hear.
Okay. Here's the story. Intuition, women's intuition. The question is it intuition that we feel at times, or is it insecurity? So, you know, what do you feel, first of all, about a woman's intuition? So, in other words, if we meet a man and we get a little red signal flag an internal flag within ourselves, we go, no, there's something wrong here. Mm-hmm. Many, many times we get into trouble because we do not listen to that. What do you feel about that? Have you seen that in your own life or in the people that you've experienced where if they could only have gone back and listened to that intuition, do you think it would have changed something?
Absolutely. I do feel that women have phenomenal intuition, and I do feel that we do have to go with our intuition. Now, there's also another side, too, where if we have stories from the past or any experiences that have, you know, shattered us in any way, shape, or form, then we might, this intuition might be like, oh gosh, can I trust him, or can I this, or can I that, from past experiences.
Right, so that can impact your feeling.
Absolutely.
Well, I did some research on this because I knew you were going to be here, and it's even something that, you know, any of my friends I've spoken to throughout the years we've struggled with. So I was just, you know, formulating some questions and some ideas. How do you discern then? If it's yourself and it's you're thinking it, you know, sometimes we call our girlfriends, we're like, girl, do you think that, you know, this is me being crazy, or do I need a red flag? Let me share a story, and then I'm going to get into some telltale signs that it's not necessarily your intuition. It might be that you're a little bit insecure. Or you're
if you meet a guy in
insecure.
prison,
It's really your
that's
ego.
a red flag. Am I correct? If you meet a guy in prison,
Correct.
Okay, I'm just double checking.
Well, as an example, we had a friend who met a man, dating a man. She never got his home number. She was never invited over to his home. She was only getting texts from him, not phone calls. And it was like a very sporadic meet and greet. Her intuition was telling her, you know what, this guy, first of all, he's not really into me or into a real relationship. But she made love to him. You know, they went the whole route. And she became attached. Well, it turned out the guy was married. She knew in the very beginning that something wasn't right, you know? So what could she have done differently? Do you think, Katie, do you think she should have, like, if you're wanting something in the beginning from a man and your intuition goes, there's something not right here.
I think the question that this woman really needs to ask herself is, despite the fact that her intuition told her no, what was that internal pull that made her do it anyways?
Exactly.
Because that's the issue.
Right.
That's
so
the issue right there.
When we get more into it, I'm going to go over that
Yeah.
quickly. And okay, so here's a story. And this is a true story because, you know, I have a lot of people calling me with stories.
I love your story.
Some of them,
excited to
and
hear.
some of them
favorite part of the day.
Now,
the
we have to.
stories.
It's early morning, so I'm going to try to tone it down for radio because I've been told I need to tone it
I'll
down
help
a
you. If
little.
it's
Mike's going to help me.
I'll go because if I think it's a little too far, you know it's too far.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
I'm uncomfortable. It's bad,
internet dating horror story, true story, took place in Scottsdale. A woman meets a man on the internet, and they talk on the phone, and great profile. So she loved the phone conversation. They had tons in common. At the end of the conversation, he goes, okay. He goes, do you like what I look like physically? And the woman said, you know, you're okay, but that's not what drew me to your profile. What drew me to your profile was what your words were saying. And now it's what you're saying on the phone. He goes, well, I'm really glad to hear that because I pre-screen everybody. That actually wasn't my profile photo. And all of a sudden the woman's like,
So is that on the phone?
Over the phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, over the phone. Now, right then and there, if it were you, Leslie, and someone says that's not my profile photo, what would you have said?
I would have instantly, it's just dishonesty from the beginning.
Right?
Absolutely.
Red flag, right?
Red flag.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Absolutely.
she didn't. Red flag, Mike?
Oh, totally.
Red flag, Katie.
Absolutely.
Red flag, Tashima?
Well, women do the
waving
same
the
thing.
hand.
We're all in agreement.
Well, women
Okay.
lie
I mean,
about
your
their age
belly
on
gets
online
into a
profiles,
knot.
too.
Okay, well, the
Right.
girl obviously had a red flag warning sign turned off. Okay, so she didn't take that as a red flag. And she continued, because then the next words out of his mouth were, the reason that I have a phony picture up is because I'm a celebrity. And I'm much better looking than the photo. And I'd really like to see you. Now, to me, that's another red flag because that shows
Absolutely.
extreme narcissism.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
right.
Red flag
number
One,
two.
Red flag 1, 2, 3.
Why are you revealing your true self? Why?
Yeah, right?
Why?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's red flag number 2, girls and boys, and she didn't listen. This is what happens, and this is what happens when you don't.
You know there's another red flag coming now.
Girl.
Yeah, I'm waiting for 3.
And this one may be run over by a red ambulance, not even a red flag. What's coming next? Just so this girl agrees to meet him because now she's stimulated, believe it or not, with him being a celebrity.
Oh, boy.
Girl, I'm serious. So he's like, okay, I want to meet you by my work. He was on television. He goes, I'm going to have a break between one segment and another segment. I'd like to meet you for a drink at this nice place downtown or whatever. So she's like, okay. So a few days later, now this whole time now for the next few days, he's texting her, he's calling her. She was kind of, she had run it by her girlfriends. She's like, should I have been concerned? And her girlfriend's like, well, yeah, he was lying to you. And now he's just arrogant.
I love how girlfriends knock sense into your head.
Yeah, but she didn't listen.
Well,
She went.
They're going to probably try to date
She
her
goes
next
anyway.
week, too.
So in the morning before their date, she gets a text from him, and he goes, I am so excited to meet you. I'm more excited to meet you than any other woman that I've even talked to online. It's just we have such a great connection. And in fact, they did have a good connection. They had a lot of things in common. Okay, and this is probably why she decided to go out with him. It wasn't just that he was a celebrity. It was that
a
they
celebrity.
actually... Well, that's not how she presented it to me.
Did he tell her who he was?
No.
So it was the intrigue.
Oh, no. Right.
was
So
the
right
intrigue
before
of
the
not
date,
knowing what kind of
right before the
celebrity
date, he tells her who. Okay. And in
It's
fact,
Brian Williams from NBC News. Oh, no.
I can't say any names. But he was drop dead gorgeous. In fact, he was better looking than the picture, okay? So she gets there, and also remember now, they did have a connection. They had some things in common, okay? So that's why I think women sometimes overlook that ding ding, bada bing bing warning sign, okay? So they get together, they meet at this bar. It's instant chemistry. It was wonderful. And he tells her, you know what? He kisses her. And great chemistry. She's like, oh my goodness, this could be the one. She's
On the
thinking
lips?
this.
On the lips when they met?
No, not when they first met. They had been there a good hour or so.
Okay.
After an hour. You know my dates are 5 minutes, girl.
But they're kissing in the middle of a Denny's? That's crazy.
Oh, it wasn't a Denny's. It wasn't a
It's
Denny's.
the first meeting. That first meeting
So
should always be a
listen,
Denny's.
guys, he's holding her hand and he's like looking in her eyes and she's feeling like these little
Tingling.
zing zings, zing zing, bada bing bing in a good way. And the next thing you know, a woman is walking by looking at him. She's like, oh God, it's a fan. Oh, we're gonna get bothered because a few people had come up and asked him, for his autograph
Wait,
or
what does
whatever.
he do?
I can't tell you.
Why not?
It's private. It's private. He's
Is he
on
a
TV.
musician? Is
He's
he a-
on television.
Okay.
He's-
Like an actor or a news person?
Maybe, but I'm not going to
It
tell
doesn't
you.
matter.
There's
It doesn't
a million
matter.
actors.
I'm not going to tell you. It's secret.
Why
It's
is that a big
secret.
deal?
So anyway,
Stay tuned next week. I'll tell you who it is.
Well, what
There you
happened?
This woman walks up with her friend and she leans in and I think she's going to ask him for an autograph. But instead she leans into me and I say me, but the woman sitting at the table.
Right,
And she
right.
goes, I'm telling you the way the story was told.
No. Sometimes it's good to personify it. It's so much easier.
Absolutely.
It's so much easier to personify. I do that all the time.
So she's sitting there. The woman leans into the woman and she goes, I just want to tell you that I really hope you enjoy your dinner with this bleep hole because this morning he was
With me.
and
yeah.
inside of my
Bedroom.
all morning. So enjoy the after effects. And how does it feel to be second best or whatever? And then she takes a glass of red wine, pours it all over him, and it lands on the other woman, all over her.
I didn't know
And
they had
then
red wine at
That is a
Denny's. That's
disaster.
nice.
And then she walks out. So the man, now mortified, right? And he looks over at the woman. And he's like, well, that was nice. And then the woman's like, doesn't even know what to say. Because, by the way, she was very graphic in her description of what had taken place that morning. And here's the other thing. He had called her, texted her in that morning and said, I can't wait to see you tonight. I'm so excited. You know that he was texting her straight from somebody else's
bedroom.
Do you understand how shady that dude is?
Did he pay for the lady's dry cleaning that got the red wine on her?
Well, not only
that's not going to make much of a
That's what a
difference.
gentleman-
he offered to actually. So this is what happened after
True actor. Johnny Depp would have done
So
that.
he had to go back. He had to go back to do his thing, and he needed
So
to
it's not
go.
Johnny Depp.
He
We've
needed to go
eliminated
home.
Johnny Depp.
He needed to go home and change his shirt. So believe it or not, he still was trying to get this woman to follow through with him. And he's like, will you go home with me and we can talk about this? He had a, convertible Porsche. He's like, I'll drive you in my car. I'll take you up to the house. Of course, he has a beautiful home. He's thinking he's going to impress her now, the car, the house. And she's going to overlook the
He's got the
he's
fish
going to
on the hook.
overlook.
He's got the fish on the hook. He's not going to stop fishing just because he got some red wine on him.
So then he looks. So then, the woman looks at him. She goes, "Well, first of all, the fact that you were with a woman like that would be so unclassy to do something like that. I wouldn't go near you with a 10-foot pole. First of all, secondly, you're a liar.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you this right
did she
now.
walk off?
She walked off. That was
I am
it. End of
never-
story. End of date. What do you guys think about that story?
I'm so glad she taught him a lesson.
Well, I'm never going
He
to
was
look at
humiliated. He was so
I'm never going to look
humiliated.
at Wilford Brimley
Deserved
the
it.
same way again. Wilford Brimley is a jerk, and I'm never going to like his movies anymore. That's who we're talking about, Wilford
So-
Brimley? You said an actor.
No, I'm not
The
telling you
old
his
guy?
name. You're not going to guess. There's just so many. He's
Don't
going to
even
spend the
try.
whole
Can't
time.
get so mad
I'll
at me.
tell
It's
you
not
after.
Wilford
I'm giving
Brimley.
Mike
Don't say
bad
that about
looks right
Wilford
now.
Brimley.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Don't you say that about
But
Wilford
really,
Brimley.
what do you think? Now, first of all, because we're talking about women's intuition in this segment, we wanted to also talk about, Leslie, what women do wrong on dates, what men do wrong, and intuition. What do you think that she did wrong, the woman on the date? Was it just going out with him in the first place?
Yeah, she shouldn't have gone out in the first place. And definitely she did the right thing of walking away. He needs to be put in his place.
And
I
by the way, she liked him. And do you know that she had a hard time walking away? She second guessed her thought to walk away
Yep, she
because
fell
he
into his
came
trap.
across so charismatically.
And you know what? Women sometimes really love successful men, but they need to ask themselves, why do they like successful men? It's because they want to be successful themselves.
Want
So
someone
that
to rub off on him, or to feel like that's the type of success, kind of by proxy kind of thing?
No,
Don't you
that's-
think it's a psychological, biological thing in which we want a
We're
man
going
to
deeper
protect
now.
us, though?
It's the security.
Yeah, we're
We love the
going deeper.
security.
And it whenever you come to get something from someone else, it's never going to work out in the long run. It just never is. You have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. I think that's very important. Codependency is a big no-no. What do you think about that, Leslie? Codependency is a big no-no.
It's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The more we get codependent on someone, it's determined for disaster.
Okay, I'm going to go over because we're really running short on time, Leslie. I'm going to have to do your interview when we get back and then have Katie's segment after the break. But I want to just go into just a few things to tell you the difference between intuition and how just a few things, how you can tell if it's you having a little bit of insecurity or,
Yeah, that's great.
So the first thing is, are you a suspicious person by nature? Ask yourself that. No, I mean, really, you know yourself.
Yeah.
True, right?
Yep.
If you have a natural distrust of the opposite sex, if something has happened to you, like you had mentioned, right? Do you have ongoing issues with jealousy in your life?
Yep. Trust issues.
Are you an emotionally insecure person? Just in general, you know that about yourself. Do you suffer from low self-esteem? And do you always think the worst? So these are things, if you have, or do you have an overly imaginative mind?
If you got a lot of free time on your hands, you can let your mind run crazy. on you,
So the bottom line is, before you jump to a conclusion, question those things about yourself first. Secondly, if you really are with a partner and you think that they're cheating, first of all, make sure it isn't you suffering from one of these things on the list.
Number one, absolutely.
And get help. Go, talk directly to your partner first. If you're still not getting the answers you need, then hire a private investigator.
No, I would tell. Well, as a private investigator, If you think your husband or wife is cheating on you, they probably are, and I would suggest just buying something for yourself to make yourself feel good, unless you can get a divorce, because
you
don't want to find out. It's
if you don't trust
trust
somebody, you don't.
There's
it's
a reason
not a
you don't trust
relationship.
them.
Yeah, there
you
should
just
be
get
trust.
out.
Is there a reason?
And if you have kids and you don't want to get out, then you're just stuck. But deal with that. But you'd rather not physically see your spouse cheating with somebody else. The video, that's pretty brutal.
And also learn the difference between ego and intuition. People mix the two together all the time.
Well, I think really it's important to go down that list within yourself. I mean, seriously, sit down and go, okay, am I just a freakazoid who's questioning everything? Have I been too hurt in my life? But women have that internal thing, that red light, that warning. But I want to move on, and I want to really introduce Leslie, because we're really happy to have her here. And our hour goes by so quickly. Leslie, thank you for all your feedback. We're going to go into a break in a few minutes, but before, I'd like you to tell me a little bit about your weekend event that's coming up next weekend, the 16th and the 17th. It's going to be held at the Camelback Resort. Can you tell me about that before we go into break?
Yes, it is a 2-day event. It is honestly life-changing if anybody's interested. It's uncovering the secrets to what men really want. We have so many exciting techniques and tips for everybody. Things that how to be irresistible to men, how to capture a man and keep that man. We have a man panel. We can throw off any questions to all of our men, getting inside the minds of a man.
That's awesome.
Is it only for chicks?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Just for chicks.
This is our weekend.
Hang out there.
I love that.
I'm going to hang out by the pool, put the Speedo on and maybe check out some chicks hanging out. It's a sleepover event, you said?
Well, they're going to be fully educated, so it's going to be the perfect time for you to meet them, right, Leslie? So, Leslie, how can someone get tickets for that event? How can we get information for it?
Yeah, go ahead and go to our website. It's mytrumatch.com.
So that's mytruematch.com, and it's the true without the E at the end, mytruematch.com.
Yeah, or call 480-664-0007.
Okay, and then also our Facebook page, which is the Venus Vault Radio Show on Facebook. We're going to have information and a link to their special event. And when we get back, I'm going to interview Leslie with a few questions from our listeners. And just hold on, don't go anywhere, because the next half hour is going to probably be the best half hour. Maybe one of the best Sunday mornings you've ever spent. So don't you go anywhere. Hold on. Hey, welcome back to the Vault, and thank you guys for holding on, because this half hour really promises to be really, really informative. We've got a special guest in studio today with us, and we're really happy to have her here. Leslie Sprintz is a relationship coach and expert. She has got such great tips. She was filling us in before the show even started, during the break. And I mean, really, I would run to Leslie's side to hear what she has to say. So I just stay tuned. We're going to do some brief interview with her and ask some questions. We had some listeners call in and ask us some particular things, and Leslie's gracious enough to give us the time to go ahead and kind of follow through and give her advice. So the first question, Leslie, was from a woman who's married. She's been married a few years. They just had a baby, and their intimate life now has begun to suffer. The husband has a new, very high-powered, very draining job. He's really, really tired. And he's coming home and he's going to sleep. And there is no time for them to have intimacy. I asked her, well, how much time is intimate time for you guys? And she said, twice a month, if that. And before the baby, it was like, very, very happening quite frequently.
Did she say this is their first baby?
It's their first baby together, yeah.
That's a big deal.
Okay.
So now it gets a little twisted here, because he's not intimate with her, but she caught him pleasing himself.
Okay.
So this is where it becomes a problem for her, because she's now hurt. She has hurt feelings because she's feeling neglected. And she's like, well, I thought it was your drive was down. I thought your drive was down, but clearly you have drive. So
Not
what?
really.
What?
If you want a male perspective on
I
that,
want a
that
male
doesn't mean
perspective.
you don't have drive. It just means maybe you want to relax.
Why would he please himself and not please her?
If they
Too
just
difficult?
had a baby, can I tell you this? As a guy who has a baby, once you have a baby as a dad, you change your mindset. You realize, I have to support a family now, and you work harder
Wow.
than you've ever worked before in your life, and that's your all-consuming thing. You give up on your dream. Whatever you're doing, you're like, I got to make money for my family, and it drains you.
So Leslie,
And you don't have the energy to have sex a lot of times. but they might do something like that just to like go, you know what, I got to fall asleep because that relaxes me and I don't want to deal with upsetting my wife or anything else.
But what about pleasing his wife?
Well, I know, but that's trust me, when you're in the
Because more like
cycle,
work- it becomes
like you're
work
in your
now?
head and you're like exhausted, you're just like, you know what, I just want to go to sleep. I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah, but Mike,
you know?
when it only happens once a month, that's a
I know
little
that's
bit of a
bad.
flag.
That's
so,
the problem. But you have to have a real
that could be the
conversation.
other-
You have to have a real conversation with your husband where you say, you know what, I appreciate what you're doing for the family. It's been amazing since our child's been born. You're working so hard. I want to help you because I know you're helping us.
And wouldn't that then enlighten him and make him feel
'Cause
more
then he'll
loving
go, yeah,
toward?
he'll go, geez, I didn't even realize I was doing that. I didn't realize that doing that would upset you. I was just trying to, you know.
Yeah, and that's
So,
where
Leslie,
part of
what
the
do you think?
communication is.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
Leslie.
And it's interesting to get a man's perspective on
Because
that.
guys don't bring that up. They won't explain why they're doing that. They're
Thanks, Mike. We really
Right.
appreciate your feedback. So,
well,
Leslie,
I'm not as crazy as I was.
But-
as a relationship expert, Leslie, what's your feedback for our friend, our listener?
Yeah, no, I want to see, and I would like to see what you say too. But on the other side, I think when men and women have children, the wife tends to be so nurturing and everything to the child, and the attention is not on her honey, or on her, I always
totally,
say on her
yeah.
honey anymore.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of men, they feel neglected.
I think you're right.
If their needs aren't being met at home with their wife, they're going to get them elsewhere through fantasy or real life
Yeah.
reality. And the one thing I would love to let every woman know and every mom is that the top 3 things that a man wants, and I call them the 3 A's, it's being appreciated, acknowledged, and adored. And those are huge for men.
I agree.
I like
I
that.
agree.
I like those
yeah,
3
if
A's.
the guy knows that his wife appreciates what he's doing, he won't cheat on her.
And he's not going to be tired
And the thing is, too, is
for her.
after a
Yeah.
woman has a baby,
What?
the guy
She maybe
changes,
stops adoring
but the guy
him.
also changes how he views his wife after she has a baby because now it's like, wow, this is the mother of my child. Like, you have a lot more respect for that woman if it's a good relationship.
Okay, Leslie,
You know.
let's move on to another question. I really appreciate the 3 A's. That's important because you know what Mike was saying is if the woman remembers to appreciate, you said appreciate, adore
and
and
acknowledge.
acknowledge, then he's going to be more open to having sex with her, even if he's tired. He's going to remember this is my
The
mate.
other thing I really want to encourage too is after a woman has babies and stuff, she may be bigger.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel as good about her body. She still needs to embrace her body.
yeah.
She needs to be sexy with him. Give him sexy texts during the day. Entice him. You know, hey baby, my hands are frisky. Can't wait to see you tonight. You know, you need to entice these men, you know, and let him know my thoughts are R-rated. Come on, you know.
Yeah, so it's not all up to the man. And I think in a woman's world, right, sometimes in the married world, the woman relies on that man, warrior, conqueror to do all of the work. But
No.
really, a woman's got to do some work.
You know, it's
you
a great
know?
A woman
compliment you
needs
could
to
tell a guy
initiate.
if you're like say that you didn't have it do anything the night before, but in the morning the guy's getting ready to work, you just say to the husband, you go, honey, you look amazing this morning. You look so sexy.
So, Cindy,
And
what's
that's all
the
you
next
say.
question?
You don't have to have sex right after that, but that guy will go to work then and go like, I got a pretty awesome wife.
Yeah, and also, absolutely. And
But it's that
appreciate
love.
what he
You're
does.
showing love without actually. Maybe you're both exhausted, and you're like, just cuddle at night, and just like talk and say like, isn't it amazing we have this cool kid together?
So, Leslie, question number 2, and thank you for that feedback, Mike. We really
I'm not as
appreciate
crazy
it.
as
Leslie, what are some of the things a woman can do wrong when trying to attract a mate with a male? What are some of the
very
things that
good
she could do wrong?
The things that she can do wrong, wow, there's a list.
Okay, girl, break it down.
To us, I think the number
Let's
one
do top
thing,
3. Let's do top 3.
Okay, the number one thing is I have to say that women are difficult, okay? Women say
Well, I
one
don't know what you
thing.
mean. A little bit complex.
Yes, we're complex. We say one thing, we want another.
Yes.
We assume they can read our mind. And when a man can't read our mind, then internally we're upset. Okay?
Yeah.
That's one thing. Another thing is being in your masculine role, okay? Taking charge and not letting go of control. These are things that men are not attracted to. I interview men on a daily basis. What do they want?
Yeah, that is a turnoff.
It's a
They
big
don't want to
turn-off.
compete with you, right?
They don't. And the thing is, they want, you get these men say, I just want a younger woman. It's not that they want a younger woman. They want the playfulness. They want someone that's full of life, no
Yeah.
drama.
Well, that's a problem with men too in their 40s too. Is that men in their 40s just kind of get? Some guys go like, you know. You got to have a joy of life. That's so
Passion. It's all about passion, too.
Okay, thanks. One more question. What are some of the best places you think for a woman to meet a man?
Honestly, I tell people, not necessarily the bars. I'd say coffee shops. Anywhere where men are cigar shops, basketball games, steakhouses.
I found a great place. Can I share it? Okay, I found 3 great places.
Let's hear.
Okay, golf course.
Golf course. There you go.
Golf course club where they're drinking. Golf course club. I mean, because they're lighthearted. A pretty woman's walking there like, I don't really want to play golf right now. I want to go meet her. This happened. Trader Joe's. Whole food markets, because you're meeting the guys that eat right. They're healthy. And you can help them pick out their peaches.
Afford a $15 salad. I just have $15 salad.
And also, I think hiking, like anything that in a gym or yoga class or whatever you enjoy, I think that's good.
Hiking's a good one.
Absolutely,
Although
being in the place that you want to be.
Hiking's kind of creepy too if guys are talking to you. That's a creepy one too. Sometimes if dudes are hitting on you.
Yeah. One more thing I always tell my clients is, don't go to the grocery store once a week. Go 3 or 4 times a week. If you're, like you mentioned, into health, you go into Whole Foods, go there 3 times a week. Just get 1 or 2 things. How many people are there?
Oh, that's
there?
so
Or where
smart.
you see
Life.
where you see the man,
I
where
go to
you
the grocery
see
store
the
like 5 days a week.
There you go. See,
I like hanging out at the grocery store.
and then you go to a watermelon. Hey,
But
I
I
don't
don't
know
talk
how
to
to
them.
pick a perfect watermelon. Men love to help, or vice versa.
Yes.
So if there's anything else, because we're already running out of time before our next break, if there's anything else, like a question that you think is really important that I haven't asked, internet dating, do you think that that's helpful or hurtful? Do you have any tips about that?
I think internet dating is great. I did it for a few years. I met a lot of great men, but and I think a lot of people meet. But the thing is, I think what we do is we find out what those core values are ahead of time that are not on those profiles. So when people meet, people instantly meet off a picture per se.
That's right.
So I think it's so much deeper than just a picture.
Yeah.
And people can, once they fall in love with, or they are so attracted to somebody, they like it, say
The mistakes don't matter anymore, correct? Do you think they let their guard?
well, it's that chemistry ahead of time. So you instantly meet on chemistry, for instance.
Exactly.
And then everything else is forgotten. Those values, those things that you want, and then everything you don't want. The chemistry takes over and everything
Right.
else. So it's nice to get the base of the values of what you want ahead of time.
And what would you like to say to women out there if you were to tell them what you think men really want besides those 3 A's? Because I think that's probably the main thing. I think,
Yes.
I think you could be really happy. I went to relationship therapy counseling with my relationship, and that's what they shared with me. Actually, those things. It was it was not exactly, but it was about appreciating one another, cherishing the woman too. The man needs to cherish the woman.
Well, like that you said that, because I always call it the 3 A's and the 3 C's. The 3 C's, the men, if any men are listening today, cherish, give her certainty, and compliment her. And women need certainty. Not,
You're
they
right.
know
We
that
can't-
she's with another man, or she thinks that, because then we'll act out.
We can't feel vulnerable. Once we feel vulnerable, the evil us comes out. Am I correct, ladies?
Yes.
And the
we
evil
act out. We remember everything too.
Yeah,
Men.
we have our memories.
We're like elephants.
Our memories are way long, and we don't remember the good as much as
It
the
goes
bad.
back to
That's
the
so
prehistoric
sad.
times. It's like that caveman mentality. Hunter-gatherer, and the women they want
Yes,
security.
and we
want
wanna-
to be safe in the cave.
Yeah, and we want to talk about things, and,
So
and
what
men
do
just
you-
want to end it.
So then what do you think about a man that looks around? So if you're on a date or you have a man that's a looker, I've had conversations with many friends where a man is a looker, and this is what I say to that. That doesn't give the woman that security.
What, he looks around the whole time he's on the date with
Looking
her? Is that what you
around,
mean?
looking around at everything that walks by. We're in Scottsdale, at least that's where I'm living. Every woman there's
That guy's
beautiful.
a jerk.
This is the way it
You know
is.
that, right?
But, we've had men say to myself, to friends, I'm just looking, I'm never going to cheat. Well, you know what? That doesn't give certainty to a woman.
No, it's very
Your
insulting.
energy needs to be focused on her, right, Leslie?
Absolutely. And the number one thing I tell my guys is the number one thing a woman wants on a date is your presence. You're focused on them. What a man wants is a smile. Okay. But it's the presence. So yeah, when the man is looking around, then we get what? Uncertain.
And
then
what else do we get?
What would you
Weekends?
say to that man at that moment when he's doing that? Would you say anything?
Depending on if you're
The
really
relationship,
interested, where you're at.
I think you have to set your boundaries,
but
right?
you do want to set your boundaries. Absolutely.
Yeah,
The
and
first
it-
date is just about having fun anyways.
Yeah. And if they have a problem with that, I think if you went on a first date and, you're not serious, but your man's going to set the tone. If the man's looking around on a first date and still looking around, don't go on a second date with him because you're not his cup of tea. Or he wants everybody. So you know what I mean, right? I don't think you'd even give him a second chance.
No,
because he doesn't have respect.
No, And if he wants you, if you're that girl that he knows that you are that girl, he'll connect and he'll be present.
How does a
with
woman
you.
know that she's the girl? What are the signs? How does a man act when you're the girl?
I think touch is one of them. I think men tend to touch, and you
don't have to chase. In other words, a woman should never be the cat in the cat and mouse game, correct? If a man is wanting you, he's going to let you
They're
know.
going to be the hunters. They'll let you know.
And I think if you turn it around and you try to become that pouncy cat, you might have a nice roll in the hay with your mouse, but you're not going to get him to fall in love. That's just how I feel. Am I right?
Yes.
And they're going to open their life to you. They will.
They will when
Yeah.
they feel connected.
Yes.
And you're that one, absolutely.
So we're going to wrap up this particular segment. Leslie, thank you for answering those questions. And then we're going to go into Katie's segment. Katie, what are you going to
I'm
discuss?
excited to hear.
I'm going to talk about men are our friends, guys.
I love
they're
men.
Not meanies.
Yeah,
They're
that's
our
true.
friends.
Okay, well, let's go into break. Hang on, because we're going to talk about how wonderful men are. They're not always bad.
No,
they're pretty good,
amazing.
right?
They're easy, too. They really
Yeah,
are.
Mike?
They're simple.
Right here.
There's a good one in the corner.
Corner, exactly. With no headphones.
Broadcasting on Radio Phoenix is made possible by a grant from Electric Lotus Label, old school music production studio, as well as publishing services for local musicians. ElectricLotusLabel.com. Support local music and Radio Phoenix.
Financial support for Radio Phoenix comes from Doctors Edward G. Babbitts and Karen Hilselback, General and Cosmetic Dentistry, 1440 East Missouri Avenue, Suite 125 in Phoenix, caring for patients of all ages. Learn more, contact them at phoenixdentaldesign.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be ending our hour soon, and I'm very sad about that because I've had such a fun time with Leslie and Mike and Katie and the listeners. Thank you so much for joining us this hour. Katie, tell us how much we love men. Just tell us.
We really love men.
Oh.
And they're huge gifts to us, but the
Yeah.
thing is sometimes we don't acknowledge how much of a gift they are
I
to
think we
us.
forget to do that.
Yeah, and on
shouldn't.
so many levels too, guys.
Yeah.
It's not just a shallow, superficial level.
Right.
Men actually play a huge role in our society today for women. And on a deeper level, they are women's main supporters. But, they're offering help in a way that isn't obvious to the naked eye sometimes. And let me tell you what I mean by that. They are actually giving a hand to help women pave the way back into themselves. They are best at helping women reveal themselves to themselves. Do you know what I'm trying to say here? They help you understand where you stand in life and what needs to be worked on.
Oh, you're making me want to be with a man right now this very second.
There's such a gift.
Why am I single right now?
And let me tell you what I really mean by that. Just their energy has a way of bringing out what you're trying to push back in. Whether it's unworthiness, guilt, anger, codependence, they don't need to, do anything to bring it out. It's just the nature of their presence. It brings out whatever you're trying to shove in. And that's actually huge. You can actually use that as a tool to work on yourself. Just by being around you or just by being in a relationship with you, they help you understand what's really going on inside. One, by the way you react to them. And two, simply by the way you feel during or after the relationship. So in a way, they are our direction map to inside of ourselves. So if you're feeling lonely, well, guess what? Just by being in that man's presence, he will bring it up for you. He won't even do anything just by being himself. That's what the male energy does. It brings things up. And so if you don't...
And vice versa. Just saying.
Right, yes. And so if you don't change in life, you're always going to remain stagnant, right, guys? When you don't change, there's stagnancy, right?
Right.
And men are motion bringers for women. They take you out of stagnancy by showing you what you're neglecting to see. And so, you can heal it, and you can bring new movement and freedom and change in your life. That's what they're really here to do on a deeper level. So if you embrace this, men will become your greatest friends and allies, because in every relationship you'll be like, what is he teaching me? What's coming up for me right now? Am I feeling worthy? Am I feeling insecure? And that's huge. That is really, really huge. So men will never let you down when it comes to getting you in touch with yourself. You know, this is the job that they will never retire from.
Now, sometimes they remind us of that in a way that's a little bit harsh. And, you know, that's where we have to find the balance, right?
See, and it's not always easy, because women resist to hear the truth, or they resist to really face what's really going on inside themselves.
Why is that?
Because, you know, they don't want to take responsibility. You know, they don't want to take responsibility for their past, like Leslie talked.
Yeah. Men and women both, though. Just human beings in general. It's hard to take responsibility.
But especially women as emotionally.
Women, emotional side.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, you know what, if there was anything I was, you know, here to say to you guys today, is that, you know, they're really here to remind you to always be honest with yourself. And man after man will come into your life to show you over and over again, you know, something that, you know, you're escaping from, or something that you haven't dealt with yet. Have you seen these women that always constantly get into relationships?
Have a pattern.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to learn something, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's their big thing, but they can't figure out. Why don't they just spend
Finally
some time
they get
alone
it.
and figure themselves out on their own for a while?
And see, by being with a man, that man always will help bring it up. That's their nature.
Wouldn't
it's
it
what
be
their
more healthy
energy
just
does.
to work on yourself by yourself for a while?
So
maybe?
it's kind of like, you know, you get into a relationship, they show you where you're at, you work on it, you know, you take a break, and then you go back, and then the next one shows you where you're at.
Honey, I'm all about that pattern. I just keep going the same pattern
But that's
over and
not
I'm finally
healthy,
trying
though,
to
is it?
not. I'm
But
trying.
that's not healthy, is it? To just keep using people?
No, it's not using people. It's
But
just
it
the nature of
depends how
how
you
the
treat
energy
people.
works.
I think it's subconscious, is what she's saying
Yes.
too. You're
Oh,
not
okay.
actually. I don't think you're purposely finding a man that may challenge you in this area, a certain area where you're weak, because you know it. You may not want to do that, but once you recognize that is what you're doing, that's when you can heal and maybe move on to someone that just is a good partner.
And aren't they such a gift to be able to show that to you?
If you look at it that way, yes.
And
But if
see,
you're
it's very
a crazy
important
person-
But
to
if you're
look at it that
crazy,
way.
you don't
Yeah.
look at it like, well, we're all, you know, all of us are crazy a time or two in our lives for maybe years, and then maybe we get out of it. You know, we're human beings. We make mistakes, and we learn, hopefully, from them. Thanks,
We
Katie.
do.
Yeah, so
Very
you know,
great.
just ladies, always remain open to what, you know, men are trying to help you reveal about
Okay.
yourself.
I like that.
That's what I really want
Great
to say.
Go out-
advice.
I
After
like it.
hearing about this,
Love
I'm going
it.
to go out and get a shirt that makes it look like I'm wearing wrapping paper because I'm a gift.
And you're a mirror.
You know what I'll do? You know what I'm going to
It
do?
looks like a mirror.
You know what I'm
going
going to do for you? I'm going to buy you a big red bow next Sunday, and I'm
I'm a
going to give it
gift.
to you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Where should I put
Katie,
the bow? Probably somewhere up.
probably up above your
upper
shoulders.
waist.
And do you see how that's different from blaming a man? You know,
Oh,
you're
my.
really taking the opportunity there. You're not
and
blaming.
Katie, I have to tell you, if listeners are hearing this and if they could actually do it, I think that it would be astronomically helpful to all of us. But I think that, you know, we're human beings and we sometimes have these weaknesses within ourselves, within our inner core. And it's just so much easier for everybody to place that blame, right?
Oh, yes.
But I mean, that's the easy road out. It's nice right now for me being single because I get to reflect back on the marriage, on the relationship with the one I loved and other relationships. I get to look at the mistakes. And there were some similarities in my past relationships. I'm really trying myself now to find the right healthy partner and not relive those mistakes constantly. So I'm really trying to probably follow what you're doing now.
Yes.
And I don't blame anybody for any failed relationship. I always take responsibility for what I did to
And that is huge.
accept the
It
ending
is.
of that.
And then we all have these patterns too from childhood. I believe they stem from childhood, and it's reoccurring over and over again. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting
Now,
a
are
different
we
result.
as women?
no.
Are we trying to find our father or our mother as women?
Father.
I can tell you
Well,
that one.
but it also depends in the relationship, the dynamics between.
I don't date any women anymore that have a bad relationship with their dad. That's my new rule. Like, that's one of the first things I ask is, like, what's your relationship with, like, your dad? And if they say it's an amazing relationship, I'm like, okay, then you're.
Now you see, I have the opposite. I have the opposite.
You have a great relationship
I have
with
the
your dad.
best dad on the planet, and
But
I
you
have
know
to
what,
tell.
though?
No
But
man
you-
ever compares to him.
But you know
There's
what?
no
And that's a
man
problem,
is
and that's a
wonderful.
problem.
But you're
right there.
very
That's
loving
true.
to men. But
It
you're
is.
very loving to men. A lot of women who have bad relationships
Yes,
with
I'm
their
very
dads
loving.
secretly hate men because
And
they're dealing with a lot of issues.
they do, and they're
True.
terrified of men. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where we come in, is we educate these
Yeah.
everybody and kind of find out those stories from the past
Yeah.
Yeah.
and what because they revolve and they come about in relationships. There's no doubt.
And that's taking the opportunity. That's dealing with it. You know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've got to deal with it and
You
be
gotta work on
aware.
that yourself.
And be
You
aware.
shouldn't be dealing with trying to learn from a guy that you're going.
No.
Let me learn. Oh, this is a bad man. I shouldn't be with this man either. And it's like,
You know,
well, you're kind of
you
messing with people.
you would think that love is so much easier than it actually is. You would think that in the
Not gonna be
animal
easy.
human kingdom, in the jungle of life, that we're swinging from the tree, we fall off the vine into a man's arms. He picks up our beautiful body and takes us off to the jungle, and we lead a happy life.
That's when we only live till
Dang
we're
it.
30 years
It
old.
used to be like that.
You gotta,
100 years
you know,
ago.
Just call me Jane. But instead, we have to trip over all the little creatures around. You know, we've got to bump our head along the way. You know, Tarzan finds another Jane. Jane thinks he's looking at another. You know, maybe wants another Tarzan. I mean, there's all these weird things that happen.
Well, marriage was easy when you only knew the people in your village, and you died at 28. It was easy to be married your whole life if you're dying at 28.
Well, you know, listen, if it were easy, I guess we wouldn't have beautiful people like Katie and Leslie here to actually create, you know, businesses around helping us find our way. So, you know, first of all, we're grateful to services that you provide and the information that you provide. And I mean, we obviously need it because we've got a lot of unhealthy people walking around. You know, we have a lot of people.
All a little unhealthy, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, we have a lot of women and men that are looking for a mate. And you'll hear things like, "Oh God, there's no good men." And you'll hear men say, "Oh, all women are crazy." That's absolutely not true.
That's a problem with that person. Is projecting their own problems on other people.
And that's exactly what happens. And I'll say,
Sorry.
even for instance, if somebody was abandoned as a child, if a mom or dad took off, what do they have the rest of life? It's insecurity. It's neediness. They're going to get out of relationships real quick because they don't want to lose the love again.
Hurt, yeah.
True.
They're gonna
So
be
now,
extremely needy.
Leslie, you are working as a vice president of a really phenomenal service, a company that can help we women along the way. You have a 2-day basically workshop going on next weekend at the Camelback Resort, correct? And I would like you, we're actually gonna have to end our hour, and it was so lovely to have you here and to meet you.
was
Thank
fun.
you so
You guys
much.
are
You're such a lovely,
great.
sweet
And
woman.
great energy.
Too.
Yeah,
Love it
thank
here.
you. But,
great.
you know, end our hour with just giving us the information again about your weekend and where people can get information. First of all, I want to tell our listeners, log on to the Facebook and put in the Venus Vault Radio Show. We're going to have all of Leslie's information and all of the information about True Match and everything that they do. I'm actually going to go check out the service, and I'm going to let you know. I'm going to follow up with you and let you know if I've met my man. Because you know what? It would be really fun. I think I'm ready, guys. I'm ready after a few months of being single. I'm ready. Right?
Amen.
That's
Why
where
not?
it starts, is being ready. So tell me again about where this is going to take place and what you're going to offer to some of the women that come and how they can get tickets.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to get tickets, honestly, would be to call 480-664-0007.
Okay.
And we are offering a free special right now, so don't miss out on it. Call in, and honestly, this will change your life. We'll be doing so many different exercises, finding out about your possible patterns that are being recreated through life, changing the way you view your life with men and what's happening, figuring out reoccurring patterns.
It's almost like intense therapy.
It's going to be. It is. It's like
Beautiful.
therapy, and plus, everything that what men want. He will get so much insight. We have amazing speakers coming in as well, talking about masculinity and femininity. If any of you are these, hardcore women, strong, independent, don't need a man, please come.
yeah, because if you don't need a man, guess what? You're not going to have a man.
Exactly.
Now we're going to say goodbye for now, but we're going to be back next week. We thank you for tuning in. If you have any more questions for
you.
Leslie, feel free to contact us on Facebook or Leslie's Facebook, True Match, mytruematch.com without the E after true, and offer your support and feel free to ask Leslie questions. She's got a lot of experience. We appreciate you staying with us this hour. We'll see you next week on the Venus Vault on Radio Phoenix. Have a great Sunday, everybody.